Case 2457469, people of the state of Michigan versus Tony Maurice Carter. Defendant is charged with count 1, criminal sexual conduct, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Count 2, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Count 3, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Count 4, child sexually abusive activity, aggravated. Count 5, criminal sexual conduct, assault, intent to commit sexual penetration. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mackenzie Wheeler for the people, P86308.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Frederick P53372, appearing on behalf of Mr. Tony Hart.
Good morning, Your Honor. Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit by Nancy Richards, P68850, also appearing on behalf of Mr. Tony Hart. Stands my line.
Your name?
Tony Hart.
There's a date and time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
We are, Judge. I have just 2 preliminary matters to take care of before we move to testimony.
Okay.
The first, as you'll recall, we were here last week. We discussed the issue of granting immunity to one of the witnesses. I did have it approved with my office, so I have the use immunity order for you to sign prior to this.
What's the other matter?
The other matter is I would just ask for a mutual order of sequestration with an exception for my OIC.
Any objections to the YC remain?
No, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land, if you are a witness or potential witness and we're going to log off at this time, there doesn't appear to be any other witnesses in the courtroom. How many witnesses do you have, sir?
I believe 3, Judge.
Okay. Call your first witness.
Right. The people call to Mia Hart.
No.
And the court has turned the camera, so
Thank you, Judge.
good morning, young lady. Good morning, young lady. Tell me your name.
Mia
And what's your last name, Mia?
Hart,
How old are you?
10.
You go to school?
Yeah.
You're not in school right now, though, are you? You join summer break? Like school?
Yeah.
What grade are you in?
6.
Did you get good grades in school?
Yeah.
So you're pretty smart, huh? Very good. I like to hear that. So you know the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie, right?
Yeah.
If I told you I had a head full of red hair, would I be telling the truth or telling a lie? And if I told you that I had no hair at all on my head, would I be telling the truth or telling a lie?
True.
So you promise to tell me the truth right now? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. So these people are gonna ask you some questions, okay? And we want you to tell the truth about everything, okay? Okay? You have to answer out loud, because that lady that you gave your name to has to take down everything that's being said, okay? All right, very good. Thank you.
Your Honor, I have a concern. If this is my client's mother, she's a potential witness. I'm sorry, this is my client's. If this is my client's mother in the back, she's a potential witness to our case.
Your client's mother?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to step into the hallway until further notice, okay?
Also, you haven't seen her.
Okay. I have to sign in, executing the same like that. Maybe begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Hi, Mia.
Hi.
All right, you got that mic moved real close to your face?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Mia, would you please spell your name for the record?
MIAHART.
And Mia, when is your birthday?
June 10th.
So how old are you today?
11.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Mia, I want to ask you about a time. Was there ever a time where you lived with your dad and your grandma?
Yes.
When was that?
It was when my mama passed away.
Do you recall when that was?
I don't remember.
Okay. How long did you live with your dad and your grandma?
Probably like 2 months or 3 months.
And when you lived with them, did you live in a house or apartment or something else?
It was an apartment.
Which city was that in?
Detroit.
Do you know what county Detroit is in?
No.
So Mia, did something happen while you were living with your dad and your grandma that brings you to court?
Yes.
What was that?
My dad raped me.
And you said your dad, what's your dad's name?
Heart.
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you please point to him and identify something that he's wearing?
You wearing green?
Your Honor, let the record reflect that Mia has identified the defendant.
So noted.
Now, Mia, you said that your dad raped you.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
It's I don't know.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Mia. Are there parts of your body that no one is supposed to see or touch?
Yes.
Okay, what parts are those?
My front part and my back part.
All right. And where on your body are your front part and your back part located?
Like, what do you mean?
Are they above your waist or below your waist or something else?
Below my waist.
And what do you do with your front part?
Feet.
What do you do with your back part?
Cool.
So Mia, did your dad ever touch any of your front part or your back part?
Yes.
How many times did he do that?
I don't remember.
Was it more than 5?
No.
Okay. So I want to ask you about a time when your dad touched your front part, okay?
Okay.
Where did that happen?
I was at my grandma's house
Which room were you in?
in the living room.
And who else was in the apartment with you?
It was my uncle and my sister,
And what's your uncle's name?
Raymond Jones,
And what's your sister's name?
Malia Hart.
Where were they when this happened?
They was in the living room.
Do you remember, did this happen during the daytime or the nighttime?
Nighttime.
How did this begin?
Because my dad he always used to bring the girl to my grandma's house, and he used to get drunk and stuff. So every time he used to get drunk, he just used to just start having sex with me and stuff.
So Mia, you said that he would get drunk. What do you mean by that?
Like he'll start getting into a fight with my uncle, and he used to get like super drunk.
What does getting drunk mean exactly? Let me ask you this, Mia. Do you know how someone gets drunk?
Yes.
What do they do?
They drink and smoke.
Okay. Did you ever see your dad drink and smoke?
Yes.
On this particular time when he touched your front part, had you seen him drinking and smoking?
Yes.
And you said that you were in the living room when this happened. Is that right?
Yes.
So what did your dad do?
Cause usually he don't be knowing what he be doing when he drunk. So he just like be calling my name, and I don't know what he be calling my name for. So I just go over there and like Cause usually when he be drunk, he be hungry and stuff, so I'm pretty sure that he was thinking that he wanted me to get him something to eat. And he just called me over there and he just started having sex with me.
Okay, so you said he called you over there. Where was he at?
He was on the couch.
Was he sitting down or laying or
He
something
was
else?
laying down.
And so did you go over to him?
Yes.
What did he do when you got over to him?
He just he just pulled me by my shirt.
You said he pulled you by your shirt. What were you wearing then?
I was wearing a shirt and I was wearing a shirt sleeve short shirt.
And did you have any pants or shorts on?
Yes.
What did you have on?
I had on shorts.
So you said that he grabbed your shirt. And then what happened next?
And then I fell and then I fell on him and he just like started raping me and stuff.
Mia, you said that you fell on top of him. How was he? Was he on his stomach or his back or his side or something else?
He was on his back. He was on his back.
And while you were on top of him, did he do anything to your clothing?
Yes.
What did he do?
He put down my shorts.
Do you have any underwear on?
Yes.
Did he do anything with your underwear?
He put them down right over my shorts.
Did you see any part of your dad's body at this point?
No.
So after he pulled down your underwear, what did your dad do?
He just started sticking his private parts into me and stuff.
You said that he stuck his private part into you. Did you see his private part?
No, because I was turned to my back.
Do you know what he does with his private part on a daily basis?
Yes.
What is that?
He like what do you mean?
What does he use his private part to do?
To pee.
So when you were on top of him, what did he do with his private part?
He put it inside my private part.
What did you feel?
It was just like a lot of pain and stuff. And I started getting cramps in my back.
Did he say anything to you while this was happening?
No.
What did you do?
I was calling my grandma name.
Did you know where your grandma was?
Yes.
What happened after you were calling her name?
And she came out the room and she saw what my dad was doing and she woke my uncle up and then my uncle started asking him questions like why would he do that and stuff and my grandma tried to figure out where her phone was at so she called the police but she couldn't find the phone.
Did she call the police?
She didn't know where her phone was so she couldn't.
Mia, how old were you when this happened?
I was 10.
Did your dad say anything to you after about this?
Yes, he asked me why did I call my name.
What did you tell him?
I told him because I told him I was like, why would you raping me and stuff? That's what I'm calling my name.
Yeah, at any point, did your dad ever touch your back part?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about that. When did that happen?
I was at my grandma's house and he just did the same thing to my back part. I mean, what he did to my front part, he did the same thing to my back part.
Okay, so let me ask you, Mia, when he touched your back part, where was your dad at?
He was laying down on the floor.
On the floor of which room?
In the living room.
And who else was there?
It was my sister and my brother,
And what's your sister's name?
Malia.
Okay, and what's your brother's name?
Dejon.
Was your grandma home?
Yes.
Where was she at?
She was in her room too.
And where was Malia at when this happened?
Malia, she was on the couch. She was asleep. Yeah, she was asleep.
And where was Dejon at?
He was he was on the floor watching. I think he was watching his tablet.
What did your dad say to you?
He told me not to call my grandma name this time, and I still did.
Okay. You said he was on the floor. Did he stay on the floor the whole time or did he do something else?
You stayed on the floor the whole time.
And where were you at in the room?
I think I was under my grandma's table because that's where I like to be at. And I'd be watching my phone. That's where I was at. I was under the table.
Were you on your stomach or your back or your side or something else?
I was on my stomach.
What happened? How did your dad, or I guess, what did your dad do next?
And then he moved over there like by me because he likes going in the table too. And he just came over there next to me.
Did he say anything when he got next to you?
No.
Then what happened?
And that's when he started raping me.
Mia, what did you have on when this happened?
I had on a tank top with pants.
Did you have underwear on?
Yes.
Did those stay on while this was happening?
No.
Okay. What happened to your clothes?
He took my clothes off, and then after he did that, he just started raping me, and then that's when I called my brother's name, and I called my uncle's name. I mean my sister's name.
What part of your father's or your dad's body touched you?
His front part.
Let's refer to the defendant by his name.
Okay. What part? So Tony's front part touched you?
Yes.
And did you see his front part?
Yes.
What part of your body did his front part touch?
My back part.
And Mia, your back part, there's more than one part to it. Was it the outside of your back part or the inside of your back?
The inside.
What did he do with his body when he was touching your back part?
He just grabbed my back. And he just started squeezing my back.
What did you feel?
I felt his thumb going into my rib.
How long did that last for, Mia?
I don't know.
How did this end?
Because I called my brother's name, and my brother pushed my dad off my back.
So you said you called your brother's name?
Yes.
And did Dejon come out?
Yes.
And so what did Dejon do when he came into the room?
He pushed my dad off my back, and then he took me into my grandma's room.
What did your dad say when this happened?
He didn't say nothing.
Did your dad say anything to you about this afterward?
No.
Mia, did you ever see Tony do anything inappropriate with anyone else?
I went to my sister.
What did you see him do with your sister?
He did the same thing to me. He did the same thing to my sister that he did to me.
What's your sister's name?
Malia.
And when did you see him do this with Malia?
I don't remember, but all I know is that we was at my grandma's house when he did.
How old was Malia?
we was both seeing because we're twins.
Oh, you're twins, okay.
What room of your grandma's house did you see this happen in?
In the living room.
And where was your dad at in the living room?
He was on the couch. It was because my grandma had two different couches in her house. So he was on it was like a love seat. He was on laying on a love seat.
And what did you see Malia do?
I didn't see her do nothing.
What did you see Tony do?
He went over to my sister and grabbed her by her shirt and just put her he just put her by her shirt by her back and then just snatched her back and he just laid her down. He laid her down on the couch and then he just started raping her.
Did you see if Malia had clothes on?
Yes,
Did you see if her clothes stayed on the whole time?
they didn't.
How did they come off?
But my dad took them off.
Did you see any part of your dad's body?
No,
Did Malia say anything while this happened?
she called my name and I went and told my brother.
How did this end?
Because my brother, he went to go tell my uncle,
What's your uncle's name again?
Raymond Jones.
And did Raymond eventually come out into the apartment?
Yes.
What happened then?
And then after that, my dad and my uncle started fighting.
And Mia, how many times did Tony touch your back part?
Only once.
Thank you, nothing further.
Cross-examine.
Thank you. Good morning, Mia.
Good morning.
Just have a few questions for you. If anything I say you don't understand or you want me to repeat, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right. So you said that after your mom passed away, you went to live with your dad and your grandma?
Yes.
Had you lived with your dad before then?
No.
Okay. So this was the first time that you came to live with them?
Yes.
And you don't remember when that was?
No.
Do you remember how old you were?
Yes.
How old were you when you went to live with your dad?
I was 10.
10. Okay. And when you lived with your dad and your grandma, you said you lived in an apartment?
Yes.
How big was the apartment, would you say?
It wasn't big, it was small at the same time.
Okay. How many bedrooms were in the apartment?
4.
Okay. Who slept in the bedroom?
My grandma.
Did anyone else ever sleep in the bedroom?
No.
Where did you and Malia sleep?
In the living room.
Where did your dad sleep?
In the living room.
Was there anyone else living in the home?
Yes.
Who else lived there?
My uncle.
And where did your uncle sleep?
He slept in my grandma's chair.
Okay. What about anyone else?
And it was my brother Dede.
Okay. And Dede, is that Dejon?
Yes.
Right. Did he sleep somewhere in the home too?
Yes.
Where did he sleep?
He slept on the couch.
Okay. So, you said your uncle slept in your grandma's chair. Was that also in the living room?
Yes.
So everyone but your grandma slept in the living room.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you described a couple of things that happened to you. The first one that you described, you indicated was when your dad touched your front part.
Yes.
And I think you said that it happened in the living room
Yes.
and it happened at night
Yes.
and your uncle and your sister were there.
Yes.
Where was your uncle when this happened?
He was in the living room on a chair sleep.
Okay. And where was your sister when it happened?
She was under the table sleep.
Okay. Was there a certain place in the living room where everyone slept usually?
Yeah.
And where did you usually sleep?
I usually be under my grandma's table.
Okay. And when you're saying this table, is it like a dining room table? or-
Yes,
Okay. And your sister, did she sleep under the table too?
yeah,
Is there, so, I kind of want to get a visual of what the apartment looks like. There's a front door to it, I assume,
it's a front and back,
a front and back. Okay.
yes.
So when you walk in the front door, what do you see?
I see the back door and it's a chair, and it's a chair on the right side, and the couch is like by the wall, but the wall is this way, the couch is like right there. And then I see her love seat is by the patio window.
Okay. So when you walk in the front door, is it, you're walking into the living room?
Yes,
Okay. But you can see the back door when you walk in the front door?
yes.
All right. And where is grandma's room?
Her room is on the left side,
All
by the
right.
bathroom.
Do you have to walk through the living room to get to grandma's room?
Yes,
All right. And grandma's door to her room, where is that in relationship to the couch where you said your dad was laying when this happened?
um, like, what do you mean?
How far away are they?
Well, I don't know, like, from the couch to my grandma's room,
Right.
the couch is right here in my grandma's room, like, right here by the bathroom, so, like, it's not far away from each other, but it's far.
Okay. If you could point to something in this room, what would be a distance that would be about the same?
The living room right here, in my grandma's room right there. Like where the black door at, that's where my grandma's room at.
Where that door that says full?
Yeah, right there, that black door, my
Oh,
grandma's
the
living room.
drawer?
Yes,
Okay. The first one, the shorter one, or the bigger one?
the bigger one.
15, 20 feet.
I'd say 15. Okay, thank you. And you said, was grandma home when that happened too?
Yes,
All right, and you called for grandma,
yeah,
and grandma came out,
yes,
and she saw what was happening.
yes,
And you said that she was going to call the police,
yes.
but she never ended up calling the police.
Mm,
Is that enough?
yes,
Was there ever a time where grandma did call the police?
yes,
All right, do you remember when that happened?
no,
All right, did the police actually come to the house?
yes,
Did the police talk to you?
no, they talked to my grandma.
Now, you said that, that was the time when you touched your front part.
Yes,
And then you indicated that another time you touched your back part.
yes,
And that happened after the time you touched your front part.
yes,
Do you remember how long after it happened?
no,
Was it a long time or a short time?
short time,
Not the same day though?
no,
And at that time you said Malia and Dejon were in the room.
yes,
And Dejon was awake and he was like on his tablet.
yeah,
And grandma was there too in her
Yes.
room.
yes,
Now, you indicated he took your clothes off.
yes,
Did he take off all your clothes or only part?
the only part of my clothes,
Okay, what part did he take off?
my shorts,
The first time, did he take your clothes off or were your clothes still on?
oh, he took my clothes off,
All of them or only some of them?
only some of them.
Again, your shorts? Is that a yes?
Yes,
Now, you indicated that, I'm gonna kind of go back to the apartment. You indicated that your grandmother's room was near the bathroom.
Yes,
Is there only one bathroom in the apartment?
yes,
And, is that connected to the living room at all?
no,
Okay, is it connected only to your grandmother's room or?
yes.
So do you have to go through your grandmother's room to get to the bathroom?
It's like my grandma room right here in the bathroom, like, it's like in the, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like her, the bathroom, like right here in her room, like right here. You gotta walk past her room to get to the bathroom.
Okay, is it like down the hallway?
Yes,
Okay. Is there a kitchen in the home?
yes.
And where is the kitchen in relation to the,
The kitchen is right in front of the living room.
okay, is there a door, is it all open?
It's all open.
Now, at some point, you ended up going to, a place where you talked to a lady about what happened, correct?
Correct.
And you were in a room and she told you it was recorded and all of that stuff, right?
Yes,
And you actually talked to, somebody twice, right?
yes,
So the first time you went was in December
yes,
of 2023, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And
Yes.
yes,
And sorry, we have to say that because the court reporters can only take down yes or no, okay? So when you say or it's hard for them to write it down, okay?
okay,
All right. So the first time that you went in December, when you talked to the lady in the room, she asked you about some things that had happened to you, and you told her about some things that happened with your brother Dejon, correct?
yes.
Okay. And she asked you about your dad at that time, right?
No, she was only asking about my brothers.
Okay. Do you remember her asking you about who you feel safe with?
Yes,
And do you remember that you told her that you felt safe with your dad?
no,
Okay. Do you remember her asking you if there was anything you didn't like about your dad?
yes,
And do you remember that you said there was nothing you didn't like about your dad?
no. 'Cause I told her that I didn't like how my dad was raping me and my sister and bringing other women into my grandma's house.
Do you remember saying that in December?
Yes,
Then you went back to see her again in May of this year, correct?
correct,
Okay. And you talked about your dad then, correct?
yes.
Was there any other time other than December and May that you talked to someone like that in a room?
Yes, it was in May, and the lady I was talking to, she asked me, did I feel safe with my dad before he did all that stuff? I said yes.
I'm gonna kind of take you back some. So after this happened, I know that you said your grandma knew, your uncle knew. Is there anyone that you told that didn't see what happened?
I told my brother, maybe my oldest brother.
Your oldest brother? And is that Tony Junior?
Yes,
Okay. Is there anyone else that you told?
and I told my other uncle, his second brother,
How old is Tony Jr.?
15.
So his second brother, you said,
My dad's second
your
brother,
dad's second brother. And what's his name?
T-Man.
T-Man?
Yes,
Is there any other person that you told?
and I told my uncle's wife, which is my auntie,
And what's her name?
Joyce.
And when you told all these people about what happened to you, did they react and ask questions?
And they asked questions and they had to talk with my dad about it.
Okay. Did you ever talk to like a social worker about it?
No,
What about a CPS worker?
no,
How many people do you think you told before you went to that room where they interviewed you?
only told only told my oldest brother, and that was only told him, and then after I told, then after my, and then after him, I told my uncle, my auntie.
Okay. Do you remember when you told your uncle and your auntie?
No,
Do you remember if that was before you told the lady in the room? The
yeah, it was
recording?
before.
It was before. Okay. Now, you and your sister, you said are twins, Malia.
Yes,
Are you the kind of twins that are also best friends?
yes,
You tell each other everything?
yes,
Have you and Malia talked about what happened to each other?
yes.
And what about Dejon? Have you talked to Dejon about what happened with you, Malia, and him?
No,
Now, the first time that you talked to the lady in the room and you told about the things that Dejon did to you,
yes,
did you ever talk to Dejon about what he did to you?
yes, yeah,
Did he ever give you a reason why he did what he did?
no,
The things that Dejon did to you, did that happen before your mom passed away, before you moved with your dad and grandma?
yes,
Nothing further.
Can you redirect?
Just briefly, Judge. Do you know what apartment number it was that you lived with your dad and your grandma?
it was, it was, it was a, it was 114, I think, or either one, if it wasn't if it wasn't 114, it was either 111.
Was it on the first floor?
Yes, no, it was on the second floor.
Amanda, you said that you told someone named T-Man?
Yes,
Who is that to you?
that's my uncle.
Is that the uncle that was living with you or a different uncle?
Do you remember my uncle that you speak with, the one that had all the white on?
What was his name?
That was T-Man, that was my uncle.
Oh, was he living in the apartment with you at the time?
No,
Did you tell your grandma what happened?
yes,
And, once you told your grandma, did you continue living with your dad or did you go somewhere else?
I went to my goddad's house.
Thank you, nothing further.
Yeah,
Yes,
you told us about something that happened between you and Dejon.
yes.
Where did that happen?
It was at my goddad's house.
And you told us you saw Mr. Hart here do something with Malia that it did with you.
Yes,
Okay, so at the time that you observed this, or the time that you saw this, were you able to see what part of his body that touched her, what part of her body?
yes,
What was it?
it was his front foot.
This front part? Okay. The
Yes.
same front part that you said he uses to keep it?
Yes,
Okay, and what part did he touch Malia with? I mean, what part of her body was touched?
her back part.
Her back part? That
Yes.
she poops with?
Yes.
Any questions based on my questions? Thank you, sweetheart. You can step down, okay?
People would call Malia.
Good afternoon. Tell her your name and spell it for her. Okay, Malia, turn, look at me. How you doing today? Need you to come up to this chair, have a seat in this witness box here. Yes, ma'am. How old are you? You're 11. I understand you're a twin, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we just talked to your twin sister. She's a pretty smart girl. Are you smart too? Smart, you or her? Both are smart? Good answer. Okay, because we're twins, right? Okay, so you know what it means to tell the truth and what it means to tell a lie? If I told you that I had green hair right now, would I be telling the truth or telling a lie? All right, and if I told you I had no hair at all, would I be telling the truth or telling a lie? So you promise to tell me the truth? You go to school? I'm sorry? You're on summer break now. Okay, so but do you like school?
Yeah.
What grade are you going to?
6.
Okay, you get good grades?
So,
You can do better? Some room for improvement? Understood. Okay, I want you to take that microphone that's in front of you, pull that up to your mouth and answer questions for these people that are gonna ask you some questions, okay?
yeah.
All right, very good. Maybe give me your ready.
Hi, Malia.
I
Can you please spell your name for the record?
MALIAYA
Your last name?
HART
Malia, when is your birthday?
June 10th,
That makes you how old today?
11.
Malia, I'm gonna ask you, was there a time where you lived with your dad and your grandma?
Yeah.
When was that?
I don't remember.
Do you remember how long you lived there?
Yeah.
How long?
Like, I think it was like a year.
Who lived with you in that apartment?
My sister.
What's your sister's name?
Yeah.
Who else?
In the big mom.
What's your brother's name?
Both of them?
Whoever lived with you in that apartment.
They died.
A little louder for me.
They died.
Okay. And happy belated birthday.
Did anyone else live in that apartment with you?
My dad.
Do you see your dad in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
Could you point to him and tell us something that he's wearing?
With the hair information.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that Malia has identified the defendant.
So noted.
You said your grandma lived there too?
Yeah.
What's your grandma's name?
Maggie.
So Malia, I want to ask you, are there parts of your body that no one's supposed to see or touch?
Yeah.
Your private parts?
Yeah.
Where are those on your body?
It became 6.
How many private parts do you have?
1.
And what do you call that part?
1 time.
And what do you do with your vagina?
2.
Malia, has anyone ever seen or touched your vagina that shouldn't have?
Yeah.
Who?
My dad.
Say that. Did you say your dad?
Yeah.
When did this happen, Malia?
Like a long time ago.
Where? Where did it happen?
I think I'm gonna move my house, but yeah, I'm moving my house.
And when this happened, Malia, do you know, was it daytime or nighttime or something else? Don't know? Do you remember, was it cold out or hot out or something else? Okay. Okay, so you said it was in your grandma's house?
Yeah,
Which room were you in?
the living room,
Where were you in the living room?
my couch.
Were you sitting or laying or something else on the couch?
Mhm.
What were you doing?
Laying,
What were you doing on the couch?
sleep,
Was anyone else in the room with you?
my dad, my brother, and my sister.
And your brother and your sister, is that Mia and Dejon?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
Watching TV.
Were they also on the couch or were they somewhere else? So where were they in the room?
On the floor.
Were they both on the floor?
Yeah.
And where was your dad at? And what did he do?
Like what you mean?
Say it for me one more time.
I said like what you mean?
Well, you said that your dad touched a part that touched your vagina. How did this start? How did this begin?
Like what he did drunk. That's how he did, but he don't think he like when he not drunk.
And you said drunk. What do you mean by drunk?
Like him drinking beer.
On the day that he touched your vagina, did you see him drinking beer?
Yeah.
Before he touched you, what was he doing?
Like watching TV.
All right. And then what happened?
Then I think it was Tom for a bit.
Was it daytime or nighttime?
So that what I told
All right. So I just want to talk about this one time. So you said it was time to go to bed?
Yeah.
What do you typically do when you go to bed?
like put on my night clothes and use the bathroom. Like,
Did you do those things on this time?
yeah.
Did you do those before or after Tony touched you? So what did you have on?
Shorts and a shirt and a shirt.
And what happened next?
Now I'm just sleep
Where did you go to sleep?
on the couch.
When you went to sleep on the couch, were your brother and sister still in the room with you?
Yeah, it was on the floor.
And was your dad still in the room with you?
Yeah.
So you went to sleep, and then what's the next thing that you
Then I woke up to use the bathroom.
Okay. So you went and you woke up to use the bathroom, and what happened next?
Then I went to sleep.
And when you went to use the bathroom, who was in the room?
Like the living room,
Yeah.
the same, just everything except the living room.
And was your dad still in there?
Yeah.
What was he doing?
And I was asleep.
Was he still on the floor, or was he somewhere else?
I think he was still on the floor. The floor was on.
Can you speak into the microphone for me, sweetie?
Yeah.
Say that again, ma'am.
And I think he was on the floor when I woke up.
Okay, so Malia, you went and used the bathroom, and then what happened?
I went back to sleep.
So after you went back to sleep, what's the next thing you remember?
I came out of the room to sleep.
And after that, what happened?
Morning time, and then he wasn't drunk anymore.
Can you repeat that for me, Malia?
And then it was morning time, and then he wasn't drunk anymore.
Okay, so at some point in that night, is that when your dad touched you, or was it a different time?
I think it was sometime at that night.
Okay, so tell me about that. How did he touch you?
With his spinal cord?
Can you repeat that for me, Malia?
With his spinal cord?
Okay. And did you see his private part?
Yeah.
How do you know it was his private part?
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what Tony does with his private part?
He
You said you felt it. Where did you feel it?
take off of him.
I didn't hear you.
like off of my private.
You said off of your private part, was it on the outside of your private part, on the inside of your private part, or something else?
The outside.
What did you feel him doing with his private part?
Nothing.
Was it moving or staying still or something else?
Oh, it was probably.
Malia, what did you have on when this was happening?
Shorts.
Were your shorts still on when you felt his private part?
No.
Where were your shorts at when you felt his private part?
It was like down, so like my ankles.
And Malia, did you have any underwear on?
Yeah.
Were they on when you felt his private part?
Mm,
Where were they?
Where my pants were, where my shorts were.
Malia, did you take your pants and your underwear and put them at your ankles?
No.
Do you know how they got there?
Thank you for that.
And Lou, so you said that you felt his private part on the outside of your private part. How long did you feel this for?
About a couple minutes.
Did you say anything?
No.
Did Tony say anything to you about this?
No.
So you said it was for a couple minutes, and then what happened?
Before I fell asleep.
I'm sorry.
And then he went back on the floor and fell asleep.
So what did you do?
Still asleep.
In the morning, did you tell anyone what happened?
No.
Why didn't you tell anyone?
Mm,
Did Tony ever say anything to you about what had happened?
no.
How many times did Tony touch your private part? And did Tony ever touch any other parts of your body?
No.
Malia, has anyone else touched any parts of your body that shouldn't have?
No.
Malia, who was the first person you told about this?
Older sister, girlfriend.
What was that? I'm sorry.
My older sister, girlfriend.
Older sister. Do you know her name? Yeah, here.
Dennis.
And just so I have it right, it's your older sister's girlfriend's mother, right? And her name is Des?
Desiree.
When did you tell her? How long after it had happened did you tell her?
First news. Well, I wasn't with him because I wasn't with my dad because I went up to Jackson to go see my sister because my sister works in campus.
Does Desiree live in Jackson?
Yeah.
Leah, when Tony touched you that night, were you able to see whether or not Mia was awake?
Oh, yeah, I think she was.
Why do you say that you think she was?
Because when I woke up, she was watching TV.
Did she say anything to you about what had happened?
I think so. I'm not.
No.
Thank you, Malia. I have nothing further.
Cross-examine.
Thank you. Hi, Malia.
My name is Lisa, and I just have a couple of questions. If I ask you a question you don't understand, just stop me and ask me to repeat it, and I'll try to get it better across to you. So everybody's already asked you about truth and lie and all that, and you understand that clearly, right?
Yeah,
So if you can do me a favor and remember the night you said this happened, you were in the living room, right?
yeah,
And you didn't mention your uncle Raymond. Was he present that night?
no,
He was not present.
no.
So let me count it out to you. There was you, Mia, Dejon, and your dad, all in the living room.
Yeah,
Now, was it past bedtime or just getting to be bedtime? What time of night was it?
give it to me that.
So you guys are still around getting pajamas and getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah,
How long did you go to sleep at all that night?
yeah,
And if you can remember, you said that your sibling was watching TV, Neil was watching television, right?
yeah.
Does the television usually stay on when you guys are sleeping?
Sometimes,
Sometimes. So on this night, the television was on,
yeah,
so it's kind of lighting up the room a little bit.
it's all that stuff.
Okay, and you remember when grandma turned it off?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's when I went to raise it.
okay. Is there any other light, like a kitchen light that kind of lights the hallways and stuff in your house?
Mhm.
Okay, and usually, when you guys go to sleep, somebody takes the couch, somebody goes under the table,
Yeah.
somebody takes the other couch.
Mhm.
So that's three of you. Where does your dad usually go?
He probably could stay on the floor or stay on the, or lay in the chair.
Does Uncle Raymond usually sleep in the chair, grandma's chair,
Yeah, wait there sometimes.
when he's there? So let me take you back a little bit, and I want to tell you, I'm sorry about your mom, okay? But before your mom passed, you did not live with your grandma and your dad in her apartment, right?
Well, I was going back and forth.
You visited,
Yeah.
but you didn't live there. And,
Is that no?
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So you lived with your mom before she passed away, correct?
Yeah.
And someone named Patrick lived with you,
Yeah.
and your brother Dejon lived with you,
Yeah.
and your brother Tony lived with you.
So,
Okay, and that's the 15-year-old Tony lives sometimes.
yeah.
Okay, and then, so I got,
I'm sorry, I thought, how old is Dejon?
14.
So Dejon is 14 and Tony Junior is 15?
Yeah.
are your brothers the same age? Okay, one is older, right?
Yeah.
Tony's the older one.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so,
at the other side of Aaron, because we got 2 of them.
but you two other brothers didn't live with you?
No.
At your mom's or at grandma's?
Yeah, and I don't know.
Okay, so just talking about the ones that live with you, that's Tony, Dejon, you, and Mia.
Yeah.
Your mom and Patrick.
Mhm.
Okay,
Is that yes?
Yeah.
so, before you went to live with your dad and your grandma, did anyone, specifically, did Dejon ever touch your private parts?
Yeah.
And where did he do that?
Same with that.
In your front part? Did
Yeah.
he ever touch your back part?
No.
Okay, and where were you at your mom's house when this happened?
In my room.
You had your own room?
Yeah.
You and your sister share a room?
Yeah,
So Dejon came into your room?
yeah,
Was your sister in there too?
yeah.
So, did you tell anybody about that?
No,
Did you and your sister discuss it? You just kept it to yourself?
Yes.
Did he do it more than once?
no,
Just once?
yeah,
Have you ever discussed this whole entire matter with Dejon? He never told you what you should say?
no,
Did your dad ever touch your private part before your mom passed away?
no,
And you were pretty upset when you had to leave your home after your mom passed, right?
yeah,
And your whole life kind of got turned around and upside down, right?
yeah,
You go to school, right?
yeah,
Didn't get to be with your friends, right?
yeah,
Had to just change everything.
yeah,
And on top of all of that, your dad didn't have a place where you live, did he? And that was kind of upsetting, right?
yeah.
Did your dad ever physically abuse you, beat you?
No,
Did he ever throw you out on the street at night?
no,
Do you ever see your dad do any of those things today, John?
well, only when they do something like disrespect my grandma, and then they didn't want to get out, they didn't want to get out herself, so she don't want to be there anymore. So it goes to his older friend in her house.
Yeah, Dede has an older friend named Mark.
Yeah,
Is Mark a grown man?
yeah,
And Dede likes to go over to his house.
yeah,
Part of the hard times you have at being at grandma's house is that you're not allowed to go out. And she has to keep you guys inside most of the time, is that right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you guys know that you're not supposed to, you weren't supposed to eat at her place, were you?
no, that's supposed to, she just.
Of course. But there were rules at her place, right?
Yeah,
You guys pretty much had to be quiet, couldn't go out, couldn't play in the hallways and stuff, just had to stay quiet, not make noise and upset the other people.
yeah,
And that was hard. Cause
yeah,
your kids, you wanna play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Dad kept promising you that he was gonna get a place, right?
yeah,
He's gonna get stable and get a job, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't do it.
yeah, he had a job, and then he promised us that we was gonna get a place, but we didn't get a place yet. It was because he wasn't making enough money, he didn't have enough money yet, so we started living with our grandma.
That was sad.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go back to this tonight, if you can remember, you said your pants were pulled down and your underpants at the same time.
Yeah,
And then you got up to use the restroom at some point, right?
yeah.
Did you pull them up or were they pulled up for you? Okay. And did you notice anyone awake when you got up to use the bathroom? Okay, so did you talk to her about it?
Yeah,
Just went back to sleep?
yeah,
Did your brother Tony ever touch you?
no,
Did Patrick ever touch you?
no,
Just Dejon and your dad?
yeah,
Now, when Dejon touched you, your dad wasn't around, was he?
no,
I have another question.
Can you redirect?
Just briefly. Malia, you said that Dejon touched your front part, right?
Yeah,
What part of Dejon's body did he use to touch your front part?
his
And how many times did Dejon touch you with his private part?
once.
You also said that Day Day didn't want to be there. Is Day Day Dejon?
Yeah,
Were there times where Dejon was not let back in the home?
did you read
Yeah, did you ever see that Dejon couldn't come back home, or was he free to go as he pleased?
that? Well, he didn't want to because he was mad at our dad, because our dad was mad at him at first because he was disrespecting my grandma.
Okay, so when your dad got mad at Dejon, what would your dad do?
Like just yell at him, then Dejon, he would get mad and then just say, I'm tired of this, get out of the house.
Thank you, nothing further.
Okay. Malia, question for you. You said at the time that your dad's private part touched your private part. Can you explain to me how it felt?
Well, when I went to go use the bathroom, it kind of hurt it.
You went to the bathroom, it kind of hurt.
Yeah,
What part of your private part hurt? Was it the inside or the outside?
the outside.
Outside hurt,
Yeah,
and I believe you told us that this private part was on the outside of your private part.
yeah,
Did it ever go on the inside?
no,
The questions basically.
Nothing further.
Did you, or are you aware of whether or not your sister ever had a medical examination of your private part?
That's not based on my question.
I was asking about the examination of her private part.
She said, what was your question again?
Did she or her sister, if she knows, ever have an examination, medical examination of her private part? So that would be consistent with your question.
Not about her sister.
Very well. May I proceed? Did you ever have a doctor have a look at your private part?
I was going to, but then I left from Desiree, so I was scheduled to be there.
I can't hear you.
I was going to because we left from I was about to go, we left from Desiree's house because we were being bad.
You're being mad?
Bad.
Bad. Okay.
And this was after you lived with your grandma and dad?
You know, yeah, after.
Any other questions?
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You may step down.
And the people would call Dejon Park.
Tell me your name, sir.
Dejon Park.
Come on up. How old are you, Mr. Hart?
14.
You in school?
Oh, I'm at school.
You out of school now? What grade are you going to? Ninth grade, what high school? What high school?
I don't know yet.
You don't know what high school you're gonna go to? What you consider? Probably King? Okay. All right, you know what it means to tell the truth and what it means to tell a lie? You promise to tell me the truth? If I told you that my eyes are green, can you see my eyes? No? Okay, let's try something easier. If I told you I had a head full of hair right now, would I be telling the truth or telling, why you laughing? I'm sorry, would I be telling the truth or telling a lie? And if I told you that I'm wearing a black robe right now, would I be telling the truth or telling a lie? And you promise to tell me the truth, right? Okay. Maybe again when you're ready.
Dejon, would you go ahead and grab that mic, maybe pull a little bit closer to you before we get started? Try to talk right into that if you can.
Okay.
Perfect. Would you please spell your name for us?
DAE, Dejon, HART,
Dejon, when is your birthday?
October 27th, 2001,
How old are you today?
14.
Dejon, was there ever a time where you were living in a place with your dad and your grandma?
Yes.
All right. When was that?
About maybe a year.
A year ago is when you were living there?
Almost, yeah.
How long did you live there for?
Almost a year.
Who lived with you in that house or that place?
Just me, my sisters, my dad, my grandma.
What are your sisters' names?
Malia. Malia Hart. Mia Hart.
What's your grandma's name?
Maggie Jones.
You said your dad lived there as well?
Yes.
Do you see your dad in the courtroom here today?
Yes.
Could you please point to him and identify something he's wearing?
He's wearing.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that Dejon identified the defendant.
So noted.
Dejon, did something happen while you were living with your dad and your grandma that brings you to court today? Oh, remember to keep talking right into that mic. Yeah. Did you say yes?
Yes.
What happened?
No, yeah.
Do you need what do you need, Dejon?
I just want this stuff not support.
Is that okay, Judge?
That's what,
He wants,
what you need? Oh, okay, sure, yes.
Judge, are there any tissues in here?
I think we have some, so.
If they all just have a little bit closer to their face.
Okay, let me remind you, you're still telling us the truth, right? Okay.
Ready, Dejon?
Yes.
John, I'm gonna check if he thinks he can testify with his back turned.
We have just turn and face the lawyer, okay? That is asking the question.
So Dejon, I want to know, did something happen while you were living with your grandma and your dad that brings you here today?
Yes.
What was that? Dejon, let me ask you something else. Was this place you lived with your grandma and your dad, was it an apartment or a house or something else?
It was that part.
Okay. And what city was it? And do you know what county that's in?
I think.
Okay. And you said that you lived there for about a year.
Yes.
Where did you live before that?
With my mom.
And then why did you have to stop living with your mom?
Because my mom passed away.
And when you went to live with your grandma, who all lived with you there?
Me, my sisters, Malia and Mia, and my dad, and my grandma.
Was there ever an uncle that lived with you there?
Lived there? Or? No, not lived there.
Did you have an uncle stay with you there for any amount of time?
Yes.
How long did your uncle stay there?
2 months.
Okay. And what was his name?
Raymond Jones.
And how many bedrooms were in that apartment?
Just one.
Where did you sleep?
On the couch.
Where did your sister sleep?
Either on the couch or the floor.
Which room is that in?
The living room.
Where did your dad sleep at?
Either on the couch.
Dejon, was there ever a point that that Tony did anything inappropriate to you?
No.
No. While you were living at your grandma's house or your grandma's apartment, did you ever see any of Tony's private parts?
Yes.
Tell me, how did that happen? Dejon, let me ask you, when you saw your dad's private part, what room were you in?
The living room.
And what was your dad doing?
Standing.
Was there anyone else in the room with him?
No, I don't think so.
And Dejon, just so to help me understand, where is Tony's private part at on the body?
Or do you have another name for the private part?
No, I don't.
Sir,
No.
you don't have another name for it?
Do you know what Tony does with his private part on a day-to-day basis?
I'm not the judge to continue to turn his back and see.
Do you know what he does with his private part?
He
Okay. when you saw Tony's private part, did you say he was in the living room?
Yes,
And I think you said he was standing.
yes.
All right. So what did he do?
He was just standing.
You said he was standing. How close was he to you?
Pretty close. No, he wasn't close, but he was.
You think closer than 5 feet or further?
Mm,
And where were you in the living room this time?
I was sitting at the dining table. Of the living room table.
When Tony had his private part out, what did you do?
Uh, I just did like this, and then I got up and moved to the back of the house.
I didn't see what he said I did like this.
And so let the record reflect that. Dejon's holding out his right arm extended outwards. Dejon, you held out your right arm. What did you mean to do with like that? What did that mean to you?
It was like me, just like a little push back here, so I could get back.
A little pushback so you could get past past what?
That's my dad.
Okay. And so when your dad had his private part out, did you try to move away from him?
Yes,
Or were you able to?
yes.
And after you moved away from him, what happened?
After I moved away and went to the back of the house, well, actually the front of the house, he went and into the bathroom.
And what happened after that?
I believe I went outside.
Dejon, did when you were living with your dad and your grandma, did you ever see your dad drinking anything?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that. What did he drink?
They were years.
And what happened when he drank the beer?
Nothing really. It's just,
Did Tony ever discipline you?
no,
Did Tony ever make you leave the house?
yes.
All right, tell me about that. When would he make you leave the house?
Well, there was this one night when I think we were all laying down. It was time for us all to go to sleep. And I think I said something to my little sister, and I guess it may have triggered him. And like I had 2 bites, like got broken, and then I ended up getting locked outside, and I ended up losing myself.
Okay. Whose home did you go to?
Marcus.
Did you go to Mark's house more than once?
Yes,
Was this a regular thing for you to go there?
yes.
Why did you go there?
Because it was, I guess it's a safe.
Dejon, did you ever see Tony do anything inappropriate with your sisters?
No,
Did, did Tony ever, tell you to do anything inappropriate with your sisters?
Dejon, I need you to answer the question.
no,
Dejon, did Tony ever, tell you to touch any of your sisters? Dejon, do you remember, doing a kids talk where you went and spoke to someone about, what had happened?
yes,
Do you remember at that kids talk that, what you told that woman there?
no, not really.
Did you tell her that your dad told you to have sex with your sisters?
Yes,
Is that the truth?
no,
Why did you say that?
I was nervous.
Dejon, did you ever have sex with any of your sisters?
No,
Dejon, did you ever tell anyone about about Tony having his private part out?
yes,
Who did you tell about that?
my worker,
Okay, do you remember their name?
No.
Okay, Dejon, I have nothing further.
Cross-examine.
Okay, Dejon, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Are you turning, you don't want to face, be looking toward your dad?
yes,
So if I came over here, could we kind of look eye to eye and talk?
yes,
Okay. So my name is Lisa. I asked you a couple questions. And if you don't know the answer, just say you don't know. Make up an answer, would you?
no,
Right, so. Your mom passed away, you guys ended up kind of tossed upside down and ended up having to live with your dad at your grandma's, right?
yes,
You didn't live there before.
No.
And you had your own room and your own things at your mom's.
yes,
And by the time you got to your grandma's house, you didn't have any of the things.
no,
You didn't have any of your friends.
no,
And you weren't going to school either, were you?
no,
And this was a tough time.
Yes.
And sometimes you would just take off and go out by yourself, would you?
no,
You never ended up at the DIA?
no,
That never happened?
no,
Wayne State University Police never had to bring you back home?
no, not from the.
Okay, can you tell me what happened when the police had to bring you home?
It was late and I was just out.
Start walking,
Yes,
and you got a ride from a stranger to get to Mark's house before?
no,
Did you ever get lost trying to get to Mark's house?
No.
Did you ever get a ride from a stranger?
no,
You never got
taken out of the TIA by the police?
No.
Did, you have an encounter, a sexual encounter with your sister before you lived with your mom or your grandma?
No.
Never touched them?
No.
Never touched Malia?
No.
Never touched me?
No.
You testified today that your dad never touched you sexually? Is that the truth?
Yes.
He never did?
No.
Did he ever present his private part to you, standing around you naked?
Yes.
He did?
Yes.
When was that?
It was, I don't know the exact date, but it was late at night.
Later.
Yes.
And you said that your dad would discipline you by making you leave the house? And would that be because you were disrespecting your grandma?
No.
Did you ever have an opportunity to get grief counseling after your mom passed away?
No.
Never spoke to anybody at all?
No.
Did you ever go back to school after she passed away?
Yeah, no.
You haven't been back to school since that?
I have.
Since you've been in foster care, you went back to school, all right?
Yes.
But while you were with your grandma and your dad, you did?
No.
And you were with them about a year, right?
Yes.
So you were out of school for a year,
Yes.
kind of made you upset,
Yes.
kind of felt isolated, away from all your friends and your
Yes.
normal life.
Yes.
I have nothing for you.
Can you redirect?
Redirect, Judge.
Okay, Dejon, so you tell us that there was a point in time when your dad was standing there and you saw his private parts. Was he completely naked or what?
No, his shorts and underwear were to his knees.
Okay. Found that to be kind of weird.
Yes.
Made you feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Did he say anything to you?
No.
Did you say anything to him?
No. Stuff around and reading stuff.
When his private was exposed, I'm gonna call it a penis, okay? His penis was exposed. You extended your arm. Was he coming towards you?
No.
You said that your dad never had sex with you, right?
Right.
Did he ever try to?
No.
And you also said that you never saw him do anything of a sexual nature with your sister, is that right? Or your sister?
Right.
That never happened?
Yeah.
That you witnessed, right?
Correct.
Never got in a fight or an argument with your dad about that?
No.
Any questions based on my question?
No, Judge.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Judge, this time we have a stipulation that the defendant William Murray's heart date of birth is January 27th, 1981.
So stipulated,
Court receives that stipulation.
With that, the people will rest.
Any witnesses for the defendant?
Judge, we would move to bind over as charged on counts 1 and 2, the CSE first for Mia Hart's genital opening and anal opening. We would move to amend count 3 to a criminal sexual conduct in second degree for Malia. And we would move to bind over on counts 1, 2, and 3.
Honor, as to the counsel, I guess we're amending the information at this point. I would concur that there's a question of fact as to 1, 2, and 3.
All right. Just when the court thinks it's seen it all, I get confronted with this. Such a very sad circumstance in that these babies have been through one traumatic event after another. First losing their mother and having to come to court and testify in open court about these allegations against their father. As I understand it, their blood father. And father is supposed to protect his family. These allegations are true. This is simply horrific. I will say that I was very impressed with witness Mia Hart. Very intelligent, very beautiful young lady. And I hope that these babies get some kind of counseling, every one of them. And I think the one that we probably expected to do better than anyone was the oldest, because he is in fact the oldest. But as I thought about it, he's probably the one that's most embarrassed about anything that happened or anything that he witnessed, given that he's a teenage boy. But I think Mia, as well as Malia, did very well. And the testimony was quite persuasive. This court, having heard the testimony of the aforementioned witnesses, is satisfied that people met their burden of probable cause as relates to count one, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Count two, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Both those counts line to Mia Hart. Count three amended to second degree criminal sexual conduct. That's as to Malia Hart. Court finds insufficient evidence to bind over on count four, and count five insufficient evidence will dismiss those matters. As to the matters that the defendant has been bound over on, court will bind the defendant over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court Criminal Division for the proceedings. His arraignment on the information, date and time will be July 3rd, 2024 at 9:00 a.m. That will be remanded to the rest of the Wayne County Sheriff.
I also have an order for counseling and testing that's been found over. You send this for us?
Yes. Right, this one, I need to dismiss us count 4 and 5. Right?
I'm sorry,
I need to dismiss us counts 4 and 5.
absolutely, Judge. I did have a question as to whether or not the court that order to the expanded protective order to include our ability to have the desktop videos viewed and transcribed for our experts. And we did submit the order to the court.
I saw it, I signed it, I don't know what to pick up.
I don't think that's.
Okay. Actually, we signed it in the council and council said. Can you report it to the court? Okay, we'll resolve it. The judge is on the way.
Okay. What's the statute for CSC 2? Check. No.
Mr. Bacon and the prosecutor, Ms. Bonomo, trying to zoom in, did they check on? They said they would come back in and then they should.
The code is 750.520 C1A.
Thank you very much.
So Judge?
Yeah.
Been a lawyer for 24 years. My private practice for 24 years, I would never do a case like this. This is the first one I've ever done. Crushed.
I can tell.
I almost, I feel like I was sabotaging myself on the way here. I literally had to stop and get gas, spill coffee on myself. I mean, I was just like, there's something about me that does not want to do this. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And I'm not literally trying not to do it,